Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Kakadash. Yahweh be the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shah be the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Real quick, I want to make this epistle talking about the so-called African Americans ruling Europe for 1,000 years under the Byzantine Empire. See, because the enemies who threw the so-called African Americans in slavery, these were the people that gave them his history or their history, meaning they gave them their story, his story. See, it's not the true story, it's the story that these people are saying, and that's why we, in our neighborhood, we say, you telling a story, meaning you telling a lie. See, it's his lie that he gave to the world, his propaganda, because these descendants of slaves was ruling at the time, and they lost that war. It was a war in it was a war from, it's not the only war, but it's one of the main wars from 1618 to 1648. See, it was major wars going on. And from the 1300s, the Jews, so-called Jews, was being expelled out of these European countries because they was in there ruling. See, and that expulsion, 1492 expulsion from Spain, that is talking about the so-called African American, who they call black Negroes. See, this is what was going on. But the deceiver, the Antichrist, see, the anti-Semites, well, a lot of these people that's doing it, they from Shem too. But the problem is they trying to demonize the Israelites and give them a false history, because this is what the scriptures is talking about when you go into Psalms 83 and Psalms 2, where it says they taking crafty counsel. This crafty counsel is a bunch of lie. This is the history that is being told throughout the earth. And that's why in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5, it talks about that they transgress by wine. The wine that they giving is influencing all the other nations, and they drinking the wine. It's the lies and the stories and the history that these people giving. It's being drunken and sucked up by all the nations to believe in some kind of Christianity where the so-called white man was ruling since the Greeks took over. But they fell from that rulership. When you go into Revelations 20 is not talking about some rebel angel, man. That is a bold-faced lie. When you go into Revelations 13, let's get 13 first, and then we'll go into 20. See, 13 is talking about the same thing in verse 20, because that beast, that dragon, see, that was thrown into the bottomless pit. So this is what Revelation 20 is talking about. But what is the dragon? See, the dragon is these 10 horns. Verse 1, it talks about that this beast had 10 horns. Now, Revelation 17 and 12 tell you that them 10 horns is 10 kings. Same thing as Daniel 7. Daniel chapter 7, verse 23 is telling you that them 10 horns is 10 kings. See, 10 kingdoms or 10 kings. And those kings is from a nation. See, a nation of people. One nation, the same nation. See, it's not talking about the kings of the earth. it's talking about these are 10 kings from one nation, because the Persians was the third beast. So that fourth beast was going to be another kingdom that took it over. And who took over after the Persians? The Grecians, a whole nother nation. And it wasn't no certain government structure that they done had. No, it was a bloodline that took over from the Persians, who was Elamites. The Elamites and the Ishmaelites, they was taken over by these Edomites. And this is what the beast is. And when you go into verse 4, it says the dragon which gave power unto the beast. See, the dragon gave power to the beast, man. They the same operation. So when you go into Revelation 20, okay, go on that verse 1. What does it talks about? Let's start at verse 2. It say, and he lay hold on the dragon. See, who was the dragon? Was the dragon talking about a fallen angel? No, that dragon talking about 10 kings, man. Because the 10 kings is the same as the beast. The 10 kings is the beast, which is the same as the dragon. It says that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Okay. Then it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up. And let's go back to 13 and see what happened to that beast. The same thing happened to this dragon, happened to the beast. 13. It says, where is it? Verse 5. It says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened up his mouth with blasphemy. Okay, this not. Okay, go. I want to go up to verse 3, Salakia. Verse 3 say, and I saw one of the heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So they was wounded at some point. See, and this is what it's talking about when it's talking about the dragon. It's just giving you the same scenario in a different, under the different thing, because it was the dragon or the beast, which is the same thing. So when you go back to, when you go back to 20, it's gonna tell you what happened here in 13 and verse 3, where he said the heads, one of his heads, as it were, was wounded to death. His deadly wound was healed. Okay, so he was wounded and healed. And when you go back to 20 and verse 3, it say he was cast into the bottomless pit and shut up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years shall be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed for a little season. So this is how it is. He was wounded, meaning he was put in the bottomless pit and shut up, shut his mouth. See, shut up his influence, shut up what he was doing in the earth. See, stop what he was doing in his rulership. And then it said that he would be loose for a little season. Okay. Say after the 1,000 years, verse 7, after the 1,000 years had expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. See, Satan is talking about the dragon. So it was giving you different ways to look at these 10 kings. These 10 kings was called the beast. Then the 10 kings was called the dragon. Then the 10 kings was called Satan. See, it's giving you the understanding of these 10 kings and what they will be doing. Then when you jump back to 18, no, not 18, 17 and 8, it say the beast that you saw was, it's highlighted, the beast that you saw was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into destruction or perdition. So he was gonna be in rulership, Then he was not gonna be in rulership. When he get it, then he was gonna sin out of the bottomless pit, and then he was gonna go into destruction. This is what the scriptures is talking about, because it's talking about the beast, and it's giving you different elements of the beast. But just like verse 12, it's telling you, it's saying, and the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings. Okay, this is what it's all about. The 10 kings, and these 10 kings was coming from a specific bloodline. You see, and that bloodline was always the rebels of the Israelites and the adversary of the Israelites. When you look at chapter 12, that dragon was contrary to the woman with the 12 stars, which represented the 12 tribes. It say he saw the woman with the crown and the 12 stars on the head. That represents the nation of Israel, because the nation of Israel gave birth to Yahweh Shai, the Savior, who was that dragon waiting for the Yahweh Shai? Nimrod, who was the Edomite. Google it, look it up. It says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns. So that Roman Empire, who was even called dragon, see, they was even called dragon. They was the 10 kings, who was the nation of the Edomites, who was trying to kill Yahushua when he was a little child, which the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes, birthed into the world. Okay, and that red dragon is still in existence today, and it still have the nation of Israel in slavery, who is the so-called white man. See, and their rulership fell around about 996 AD. See, they went to start to falling because it was dynasties that was set up to rule the Roman Empire. And those dynasties was coming off of the Israelites around about the 96 AD. And it finally got to Septimius in 193 AD, where you can look up Septimius, and it will show you that he came from North Africa. See, he was a certified Israelite. And then it went from Septimius and went to Constantine under the Byzantine Empire. Then it went from the Byzantine Empire to for 1,000 years all the way to 1492, because the Byzantine Empire had ships. Their ships had fire coming out of the mouth. The ships had lions. They would fight with ships with lion heads on the front of the ship, and they would have fire coming out the tip of the darn lion's mouth. You see, and they was ruling with this fleet, what you call it, battleship, fleet of battleships. They was ruling these Arabs that was trying to fight against them. The Edomites was thrown into the bottomless pit, meaning they wasn't even a factor. It was the Arabs was the factor. The Arabs were fighting against the Byzantine Empire. It wasn't no Edomites on the scene. They had done been drove up into the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia, and the mountains in Spain, and the mountains all over. They had been drove into the caves. You see? Let's get that in Job 30. What is it? 5. Yep, 5. It says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. Verse 6. To dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. This is where the Edomites was driven, the so-called white man, when the Byzantine Empire was going down. And they had when 1492 and around about the 1300s, that's when they started to form that what you call a Roman Catholic Church and try to bring back that Roman Empire through the guy who brought up the word Africa, Francesco something. He invented the word Africa because he was giving a tribute to Scipio Africanus or whatever the dude name. He was a Roman general. So he was going back into the ancient Roman times when the Edomites were ruling the Roman Empire before the Byzantine Empire took over, and he was digging into Latin and he was showing these people what was going on back then. So they revived, they came back, it was healed. He was the one that helped heal the Edomite Empire at the end of the day. You see, and in his writings, he was writing how he was upset that the Negroes or the Dark Ages, the period of time when the dark skinned people was ruling or the Israelites was ruling. See, he was letting his people know that they was ruling before the Negroes and the Israelites was ruling. But we had drove them up into the caves and up in the mountains, and we was ruling for 1,000 years. In 1492, from 1492 on, that's where even the 1300s, they was expelling us from up there in those European nations, countries or whatever, and putting us into slavery, making us run into the interiors of Africa. See, and this is the history that these people try to hide. And they even, see, that's how they say that the language is witchcraft, and it put a spell on you, because even the freaking words don't even be having the correct meaning. See, history. See, his story. His story is a lie. And the truth is that we ruled for 1,000 years, and that was Bible prophecy that we was going to give a deadly wound to these jokers. That's why even when they came in 70 AD, the Caesar killed himself. See, we had whooped they behind. Our rebels had whooped they behind, and their leader committed suicide, and then they eventually took over because they was ordained by God to come and take over Jerusalem and destroy Jerusalem because our leaders was wicked. See, the wicked Pharisees and Sadducees and elders and the priests and everything, they was being wicked, and they turned in Yahushua to the Edomites. So it was already prophesied that we was gonna get kicked out of our land, and it was gonna help to confound these Gentiles at the end of the day. But they telling bold-faced lies about the history, and all of these paintings and artifacts show that they telling lies. The Russian icons and all these Russian pictures in Russia when we was ruling Russia. Then Benjamin Franklin say that there was a bunch of Negroes ruling Germany. In Spain, we was ruling Spain. We was ruling Poland and all of those places up there, because we had no ran them Edomites into the mountain. So that, and this the thumbnail of this video, it shows how we was still ruling when the so-called white man was trying to rise up with his Roman Catholic Church. See, but I'm gonna leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Kakadash. Double unto the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.